Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I'm going to cover the next topic, that is functions with default values in JavaScript. So let's get started. The topic is functions with default values. So while calling a function, if you don't pass the arguments, and if that particular function that you are calling has some default values assigned to the parameters, in that case, the default values will be considered. But if you pass any arguments to that particular function, then the values that are being passed will be considered. So let me clear all this stuff with practical demonstration so that you will understand. For that, let me launch Visual Studio Code, and here in this Visual Studio Code, I'll create something, create a new JavaScript file. I'll say default, okay, default values, right? Default hyphen values dot JS. I'll just give a regular, some random name, okay? Then I would like to create a function name, whatever the name you want to give. And here, square brackets, circular brackets and curly braces and all those stuff. And here I'll give a is equal to 5, b is equal to 4. Okay. Generally, in traditional functions, we generally give a comma b. Okay. And this particular function parameters doesn't have default values. Okay. So in that case, how it will behave, let's see. A plus b if I see. And then here, if I call one a like this, it's not going to work. We need to pass some arguments, right? This particular parameters doesn't have any default values. So here, it's compulsory for you to pass the arguments in order to call this particular function. But if you don't pass the arguments and if you still run this code, will the function will be called or not? Let's node space default hyphen values dot js. You see, NaN, not a number kind of stuff is coming, right? But if you pass something like a 3 comma 2 like this, 3 will go into A, 2 will go into B, 3 plus 2 is 5 will be printed here. Just run this and you see 3 plus 2, that is 5 will be printed here. That's one thing, right? But here, what if I assign some default values like a is equal to 5, b is equal to 4, and here I'll not pass any arguments. In this case, what will happen? If you don't pass anything, earlier we got NaN when these parameters were doesn't having any default values assigned. But in this case, I have given some default values. I have assigned default values to these parameters. If you don't pass any arguments, by default 5 will go into A and 4 will go into B if you don't pass anything. So here, let me run this code. You see 9 got printed. That is, if you don't pass anything, A is considered as 5, B is considered as 4, 5 plus 4, 9 got printed. But if I pass something, that is 4 comma 2 if I pass, okay, in that case, default values will not be considered. If you are passing something, here 4 will be going into A and 2 will be going into B, 5 and 4 will not be considered. 4 plus 2, 6 need to be printed this time. You see 6 got printed. But if you don't pass anything, default values, okay, or if you pass only one value, what will happen? Into the variable A, 4 will go, and into the variable B, since you are not passing anything, 4 will go, 4 plus 4, 8 should come. You see, you got 8. Okay, like that, guys. So function parameters can be assigned with some default values. If in case when you are calling the function, if you are not passing the arguments, the default values assigned to the parameters will be considered in place of them. But if you pass the arguments will be considered over the default values. Okay. Now you can also convert this function into a arrow function. How do you consider this? Convert this function into arrow function? You can do like this: const or let or whatever it is. One a is equal to, and here circular brackets, just copy paste these two items. Okay, then like this you put, and then console.log, you just put it here, put a semicolon, then you see I have completed this. I converted this into an arrow function. In this case, what will happen if I don't pass anything? If I call this function like this, so what will happen? Here A will be considered as 5, B will be considered as 4, and 5 plus 4, 9 will be printed. Let's see. 9 got printed, but if I pass something, 1, comma, 6 if I pass, A will be considered as 1 over 5, B will be considered as 6 over 4. So 1 plus 6, 7 will be printed, guys. 7 will be printed. You see 7 got printed. And if I pass only 1 here, and if you don't pass anything into the B, so A will be considered as 1 over 5, but B will, since you are not passing anything into B, B will be considered as 4. 1 plus 4, 5 will be printed. You see 5 got printed. So like that, guys, function parameters can have some default values. So hope guys you understood functions with default values in JavaScript. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye bye.